up, YouTube? So it's Friday, which means another physique update, weight update situation, whatever. You guys like my cat, who I've convinced to hang out with me? Hey. Alright, so before I hop into like my weight and stuff like that and how the week went in terms of my physique, I do want to talk about the mental struggle that this week was for me. I feel like every week I come in and I'm like, this last week was the hardest week ever. I struggled so much. I feel like this past week though was mentally my hardest week for a lot of reasons. I feel like in the last 2 or so weeks my motivation has been really low, and that's probably because I've not been seeing the results that I want. Me, I'm motivated by my results. Like if my results are coming in the way I expect, I'm golden. I'm not tempted to fall off plan. But if what I'm doing doesn't seem to be bringing the result that I want, it's very hard for me to keep going. And this is just like a thing for humans. This isn't just like, oh, this is how Lynette is. Like, I'm sure we're all like this. Like, it's hard to keep doing something that doesn't seem to be proving the results that you want. And so I guess I should start by saying today I weighed in at 152.8 or 0.6, I forget, which is like less than a pound down from last week. I've lost, I guess, a total of like around 8 pounds, something like that. And so obviously what I'm doing is working to an extent. I think I've been on prep for 8 or 9 weeks now, and so 8 pounds in 8 or 9 weeks, especially for the more experienced dieter. And until this past week I was only doing 3 sessions of cardio a week at like 21 minutes. Clearly what I'm doing is working for me. It's just slower than I would hope, and slower than the kind of progress that really like motivates me hardcore. I guess I'll just go into like a weird moment that I had this week. I was at Victoria's Secret trying on some lingerie for Valentine's Day. Creepy, I'm sorry, I'm married, you guys, whatever. And this is why I tend to not like shopping for anything other than like fitness clothes, because like everything in normal clothes like jeans or just normal clothes that you wear like to work and stuff like that just don't look the best on my body. But anyway, so I'm at Victoria's Secret and everything I'm trying on just looks like a nightmare. And like I swear those mirrors are so like offensive and do their best to make you look like crap. I don't know what they're going for in there, but so everything I'm trying on, like fat is just poking out of weird places, and like back fat and like cellulite and weird stuff, and I'm like getting like almost the largest size that Victoria's Secret offers, and it's still like everything looked terrible on me. And I'm not even being like, I really don't think I was being like dramatic about it. Like I don't think I was being overcritical. Like cellulite and jiggly stuff that shouldn't be jiggly, and just like squishy stuff that was like pouring. I'm sorry, this is so gross, right? Like who is lingerie made for? Like Victoria's Secret, who is your prime customer? Like 13-year-old girls? Because I feel like you purposely dig into the areas that women are supposed to have body fat. Like why is there so much straps? I don't get it. And I just broke down, because I feel like in these moments where you're seeing how bad that you look to yourself, all you can think about is like, are you joking me? Like I've been doing low carb for how long now? I've been lifting weights for how long now? Like how many times in the last 3 years of my fitness career that I've said no to stuff I wanted to say yes to, that I've, you know, gone with the healthier option, that I've got, you know, all these sacrifices that I've made, and this is what I look like. Like this is how much cellulite I still have, and this is how much muscle mass I don't have, and this is like what I look like in lingerie. Do you guys do this too? Because like that's all that goes through my head in those times, is that all I can think about is all of the hard work I did put in the last 3 years, and I'm like, dude, I deserve a better body at this point. But you forget too how many times you slacked off. You forget, you know, for me personally, Lynette, you took all of October, November, and half of December off from tracking macros, and you gained a bunch of weight. Like don't tell me that you don't deserve the body you have right now. Like, and like, yeah, over the last 3 years, my diet's not always been perfect. My workouts haven't always been perfect. Like, I'm just a human like everybody else, and I hope you guys understand that you can keep working out and you can keep dieting and stuff like that, but you're never gonna have like an actually perfect body. Like there's always gonna be seasons, there's always gonna be fluctuations, there's gonna be times where you're not tracking, there's gonna be times when you're a little bit heavier. And I know for myself, and it's so embarrassing to admit because I hate this about myself, but with food, it's really hard for me to find a balance. It's really hard for me to find that middle ground. I seem to be either like on point with my diet and I'm like dieting and I'm cutting and I'm like perfectly on track, or I'm like way off on some other level where I'm not tracking what I'm eating. I'm just eating crap. I'm not you know, I'm like going overboard. Binge eating hasn't been a part of my life for like a really long time. It's just not like an urge I get anymore, but I do overeat. I mean, not right now necessarily as I'm in like prep, but in life in general. When I'm not on prep, it's really easy for me to overeat. I like food. I like enjoying life and celebrating life with food. Like if I could go out to eat like 4 nights a week, I totally would do it. I love food, you guys. And I know that the reason that I look the way I look now and I don't look like, I don't know, Amanda Latona, is because I haven't found that balance. I go really hard on my diet in the off season, and then I go really hard off the deep end into food in my off season. Diet on my on season, food in my off season. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's embarrassing to admit because I feel like I tried maybe subconsciously to act like I've got it all together and act like I don't struggle with food and food isn't an issue for me and I'm not an emotional eater, but like I am. I'm an emotional eater, and I'm also someone who can just throw caution to the wind when it comes to like eating out and stuff like that. Like when I'm not in prep for a show, it's really easy for me to just be like, let's have nachos every single day for 2 months straight. And that's something that I'm working on with my coaches because that's something that they've kind of recognized in me and been like, dude, this is how you are and you need to quit it. Like you need to find balance with your food so that you're not, you know, getting down to 130 in your on season and then getting up to 160 in your off season. Like that's not okay. Like I feel like I needed a little bit of a mental break for October, November, and half of December this past year from the dieting because it was just starting to mess with me a little bit mentally, but I didn't need to gain 20 pounds from it. I didn't need to go from 140, 145 up to 160 in 2.5 months. And again, it doesn't even take binge eating to get there. I never binged. Like that's not my style, but I would overeat. And all it takes is overeating by 1,000 calories a day, which is really easy to get to have gained, you know, 20 pounds in a few months. And it sucks and it's embarrassing. And this past week have felt so inadequate when I compare myself, which I try not to. I honest to God do not do the comparison game 99% of the time. It's just not what I do. I know better than that. I've gotten out of the habit of comparing myself to other people because I know there's so many factors that go into why they are the way they are and why I am the way I am. This week it was really hard for me to not compare my body and compare my results to other people out there. It was so much this week. There's, you know, people I follow on Instagram and social media platforms that I was looking at and I'm like, they've, you know, only fluctuated 10 or 15 pounds in the last 2 or 3 years that I've followed them, or they've only fluctuated 5 or 10 pounds in the last few years that I followed them, you know, or even if they did gain 15 pounds, it was over 2 or 3 years, not like in a matter of 2 or 3 months. And I felt so just like not good enough. I felt like I don't have what it takes to be in this industry. I don't have what it takes to be a balanced person who can control themselves around food. And that made me feel so just bad about myself and feel so like the discipline that I try to instill in myself and the type of person that I believe in being, which is one that has self-control, one that has discipline, one that has balance. I feel like as much as I preach that, I'm not living it. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Like, it's never gonna kill me inside that someone has a better body than me, but it will hurt me so much to see that somebody has internal things that I've been trying to get for so long and have struggled to get. You know, when I see someone who can remain within the same 10 pounds over tons of period of time, I'm not jealous of their body as much as I'm jealous of their ability to control themselves around food, as much as I'm jealous of their balance that they found. And like that's all I want for myself at this point, is just to find a balance. You know, I believe in the kind of dieting that I do. I believe in structure in your eating. I believe in healthy eating. I believe in eating to your goals. That's why I love being in prep, because I'm all the way in that extreme of being disciplined, being on point, you know, following a plan. And I love that. I love that so much. And, you know, I'm still planning on doing this show just because, again, it's my heart, it's my joy. I love competing, and I love this lifestyle, and I'm so excited about it. I'm still open to not competing this year if I figure out that mentally it's not the best thing for me, but I'm not gonna let that be an excuse. Like, if I don't compete, I'm not gonna let that be an excuse to stop eating healthily and to stop eating for the body type that I want. I'm not gonna let that be an excuse to fall off the bandwagon again. I can't blame competing though. I can't say, well, competing is why I did this. And I can't blame a coach or a prior coach or anybody who's ever had any influence on me. I can't blame those other people. At the end of the day, having balance is a choice that you make, and it's in the little choices that you make every day. And it's in practicing discipline. It's in practicing self-control and doing what you know is best for you. You know, it really bothers me when I see on Instagram people will like stop tracking macros or decide to eat intuitively, and that turns into like eating pure garbage food 2 or 3 times a week. And everyone on social media is like, yeah, intuitive eating, like you don't have to track macros, be free. Like, but then when I decided to like eat pure crap for 2.5 months, these people are like, yeah, go you, you're doing what's right for you, you're doing what's healthy. And I'm like, that was the most unhealthy thing I could have ever done for myself, was just eat crap without any regard for my health, to not keep myself accountable in my meals. Like, you guys, it's okay to struggle, you guys. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be challenged. And I feel like so many people quit competing or quit bodybuilding because they're like, oh, well, it's unhealthy because you have to do cardio, or it's unhealthy because you're in a deficit for so long. Like, I mean, duh, that's what bodybuilding is. I don't know where in the world people get the idea that you can compete without doing cardio and without like being in a strict deficit and without working out 5 or 6 days a week. Like, that's how competing works. But the point is that you don't do it year round, and that I'm not going to be doing it year round. But anyway, I also want to focus on finding balance, not letting there be such huge extremes between off season and on season. You know, how I behave on season should be how I behave off season. You know, having integrity to my body, having integrity to what I believe in, eating healthy because I believe in eating healthy, not overeating garbage foods or eating a bunch of pure crap foods that have like no nutritional value for my body. And I'm not saying like never, like I'm never gonna have nachos again. Of course I'm having nachos. But to understand that like if I want a fit physique, if I want a healthy body, if I want to feel good, I can't do what I did last year. I can't take 2.5 months of eating pure garbage. I don't know, I feel like I've just rambled this whole video. I guess I just want to say that I am a human. I know it seems like a weird thing to say, but I was just telling one of my clients this week about my experience in the Victoria's Secret fitting room and how I felt so gross and how I have cellulite. And she was like, wait, you have cellulite? Are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I have cellulite. She like couldn't even believe that I would ever have like a breakdown moment in a Victoria's Secret dressing room because I just have the perfect body, which is just, no, like I'm a human. I struggle. This is hard for me too. I have ups and downs. I'm not perfect on my diet. I'm not perfect on my workouts. I give up early too sometimes. I don't always stick to what I say I'm gonna stick to. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with any of this footage. I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this. I don't even know what I just said, but overall though, I woke up today and probably the last couple of days and I felt a lot more mentally cleared. Like I talked to some of my friends and I like kind of sat myself down and was like, all right, Lynette, where are we? Where's your head? I feel good. I feel better. I feel like I'm kind of like easing up on myself a little bit and not letting myself feel inferior and not letting myself look at other people's journeys and try and compare and contrast, because it's just not fair to compare your struggles to somebody else's. It's not fair to tell yourself, well, this shouldn't be so hard for me at this point. That someone else has figured it out. Why haven't I figured it out? Like, that's just not fair on yourself. And even if you are going to beat yourself up over that, like, why? It's not helpful. Like, that's not going to help you actually get to the point where you want to get to. The only thing that's going to help is just realizing where you want to be and thinking clearly about what it's going to take to get there. What kind of discipline, what kind of day-to-day practices, and focusing on that a little more as opposed to comparing yourself to where you are now versus where you want to be or where other people are at. It's really the most healthy way to go about it. So that's all I got. I want this kitten in this video real quick. Hi, sleepy kitten. Oh, sleepy kitten who doesn't let me hold her. Wait. Say hi. Say hi. She hates me. Alright guys, thank you for watching this random video of randomness. I don't know. Bye.